This is OD Stream with your host Danny.
And Omar.
Today we have what would you say, a twofer for the audience?
Yeah, twofer. We're going over Braven, and we're also gonna talk about just briefly our top five shows of 2020 and our top five movies of 2020, all on streaming. So, nothing that came out prior that we just saw new, or nothing movie theater, I guess. But
Yeah, I figure it's probably a good time for that, considering and the years right around the corner, the holidays, 2020, great year, sarcasm.
yeah, kind of glad this year is coming to an end. I'm hoping 2021 is much better, but we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm at least hoping there's better things to watch
I
in
think so.
2021.
Now everyone's got their shit kind of together, so they'll be pumping out generic action movies and
Yeah,
everything Marvel and
whole
Disney,
lot of Star Wars and
pretty much.
everything you can imagine. Hope the upcoming movies sound better than this here already. So we'll wait and see.
Good sign.
So should we get into Braven? Do you want to? I guess just a quick summary of what this amazing movie, which is streaming on Netflix, by the way, it was in the newest in the top 10. I
Top
think it
10,
was
of
what,
course.
number
As
six,
as yeah,
something like that.
as you mentioned last week, with apparently Netflix just loves releasing these generic action movies like right around the holidays. It's perfect timing because it got me to watch it. So
Oh yeah, I love these. I mean, we talked about how much we like these movies. So
yeah, so the movie can pretty much what be summarized as logger that has, I guess, one of his employees is in like drug running. So he picks up a bunch of drugs and is supposed to make his routine delivery through, I don't, where's the movie take place? Do you remember?
it's in Canada, I think
Okay.
Newfoundland somewhere. At
Okay.
least that's where I don't think they mentioned it, but I know that's where it was filmed.
Yeah, because one of the cops had like a Boston accent, so I wasn't really sure.
I assume they were going for like Alaska or something.
Yeah, so
But or up Canada. I don't know. They really didn't say it. So it looked
yeah,
very pretty.
yeah, it did. Yeah, so one of the guys apparently is running drugs for, we don't know, I guess some guy called Casein, who,
Kessin.
because yeah,
Cassine.
we'll say casein protein. Yeah, he's running drugs for him and his they like smuggle it through their logs of of wood, something very Canadian if it did take place there.
Yeah.
And his truck flips over, so they have to pretty much put all the drugs in like a bag. And he has the great idea. He's like, "Oh, my boss's cabin, who's Jason Momoa, who's Joe Braven in this movie." He
They
says, "Oh
made
my,"
sure they said Braven a few times.
like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so he has the great idea of, "Oh, let's just stash the drugs in my boss's cabin." It's like right where we flipped my truck. I don't know,
So
like a
happened.
10-minute walk.
Yeah. It's like a mile down the road.
Yeah. So they get the idea to store it there. He's like, "Oh, he's not going to be here for weeks or something." And then they pretty much wait for the drug lord Kaysen to come pick them up in the morning. But on the other end, uh, Jason Momoa's character, his dad gets into some trouble because I guess his dad has what, maybe dementia. Did they say in the?
I thought it was like Alzheimer's or something, but he mentioned that he like fell off like 40 feet and like hit his head. So I don't know if it's like something from like an injury or if it's
Yes, so he has some sort of condition where he doesn't remember, and he went to a bar and basically like, which I thought was weird when he that scene where he's like, "Oh hey, we gotta go," and apparently I guess he thought it was like his dead wife, but like he like held her by the neck and he's like, "Hey, we gotta
yeah.
go." I'm like, it's a little suspect, but so basically he does that to like some random woman at a bar, thinking it's his like deceased wife, I believe. And then eight guys proceed to like beat this old man up, and then Jason Momoa comes in, saves the day, and then that's where they kind of get involved with, your dad needs to be either supervised more or put in a home or something. And instead of doing that, Joe Braven, which Jason Momoa wants to take the dad to his cabin, which intersects with finding the stash of, what is it,
Yeah, it looked
cocaine
like
over there.
cocaine. Yeah. So all that buildup in the beginning of the movie was just so he can have a conversation with his dad
Yeah,
privately in the cabin that so happened to have the cocaine stash,
yeah.
which basically opened up the whole like last hour of the movie. which
Yeah,
was,
which
you know,
entertaining.
very, no, yeah, yeah.
I would
Very,
say the first half hour of the movie I could live kind of without. The problem and the interesting thing too, it's like it wasn't bad because the acting was good,
yeah.
but it just wasn't like entertaining.
Yeah, it was like 20, 30 minutes of build up just to have them go to the cabin.
Yeah.
Like, like I think they just kind of needed like a plot device and a reason to go there.
Yeah, and they
Instead
could
of,
have
they could just been like, hey, we're having like a family getaway for the weekend or
you're
something.
like, oh, my dad's an alcoholic, hitting up chicks at the bar, getting beat up by a bunch of dudes. Let's just, you know what? Look, Dad, let's just go to the cabin for the weekend. You and me, boys, not, like something like that. But they had to pull on the heartstrings a little bit, and which is
Yeah.
fine. But I kind of wish like they just didn't. I just wouldn't go with something like super ridiculous like that. But it's
Yeah, because
fine.
I think his like short-term memory loss or whatever memory loss like didn't really have much of an impact too much in the action scenes except for later like where he had to hold him down for a little bit. But
Yeah, and I think they really were going for making you feel bad because it's like
yeah.
someone who's suffering and gets
I mean, he kicked a lot of
obviously
ass, so I
he
didn't really
did
feel
it.
bad
He
for him.
sniped some people, like
Like stuck
stabbed some
like
guy
a
through the throat.
but yeah. I mean, just to I guess end the story. They go to the cabin. They find the coke, but then the big bad guy comes up with his goons, and basically he wants the cocaine. But they know they're gonna probably get killed, so they gotta like kind of fight their way out. And it's basically the last hour of the movie is them fighting this group of like how many, like 7 guys,
I
8
think it was
guys,
7 or 8 guys.
7 or 8. It felt that way, right? Like I think so, something like that.
Yeah, and of course, when they get to the cabin and they see all the goons come up, big surprise, the little girl, the daughter of Joe Braven, sneaks in because she wanted to come with dad because he never brings her to the cabin, even though he always says
Yeah,
he's gonna.
that's not very good like parenting by the mom right there.
Oh yeah, just like
Because it
didn't
seemed like
realize
it
the
would be
dog.
like a decent drive to that cabin to not know where your daughter was the whole
I
time.
think too, like, oh wait, she was at one point. I thought she was driving, and then she realized like the daughter wasn't there. I'm like, where do you think she was? But
Yeah, no, it was. So you want to get into I guess I mean we mentioned it a little bit, but the do you feel like they needed to involve the kid and the wife at least for you, or even the
not
dad?
not really. Like, I think it would have been fine with just the dad because of the situation he was in. But I guess they needed plot points of like why Joe would want to leave and come back to the cabin and like because if it all took place where they were like holed up in the cabin, you imagine it would end pretty quickly at some point. It'd be like, all right, everyone just storm in. Like there's probably 2 guys in there. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
probably would have been good for Joe Braven considering he like killed 5 guys that tried to enter the cabin. So,
No,
but
yeah, I think they were definitely a plot device, but it actually like came to his benefit though because him leaving on the ATV actually spread out the bad guys.
yeah,
So like I'm like, I
and
guess they
the
were good.
wife apparently fucking Lara Croft over here coming in with the bow and knife.
Oh yeah, that was like you knew that was gonna happen though because when like Joe comes to the house first and he's like, "Hi, Mrs. Braven," she's like, "I love you, Mr. Braven. Hi, my daughter Braven." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"All right, I got it." Like that's the name of the movie. But she has like her giant crossbow case, and she's like, "Oh, I'll see you later." I'm like, "Wait, he
yeah,
just like came home from like she didn't explain like, are you going hunting?
yeah. Did they
Is
say
that your
what she was
job? I don't know what you
doing?
I don't know what you were doing."
Yeah, she was equally as badass, probably more badass. But yeah, I think it's just one of those like unnecessary plot points that these movies always need to do. But I guess they need to hook you, right? They need to like, if it was just the dad, like they would have had to change the whole movie pretty much. Because
Yeah,
what are they
yeah.
gonna run around the woods? I guess that would have worked too. But they needed. I will say that I do like the fact that even though they included the wife and the kid, but like they were both pretty competent, which is nice to see. Like even the cops, even though the one guy got shot in the neck at the end because he's like, "Yo, Joe, where are you?" and he just gets like,
It's like
but
walking through the middle of a battlefield. Like,
but
hey,
like it was one of those where I wasn't sure what kind of movie it was. Like when the wife calls the one cop and she's like, "There's something going on in the cabin. There's like my wife's my kid said there's like gunshots." And I was like half expecting the cop to be like the other cop who was like, it's probably just some kids, no big
Yeah.
deal. But he's like, all right, no, we'll check it out. Hey, dispatch, we're going up to the cabin, some trouble. I'm like, oh wow, for once, it's like a competent, like family competent
Yeah, I
cops.
think Peppermint like scarred me though. Cause actually like I thought maybe like the wife or the kid was gonna die or something.
Okay,
And
okay.
then I even thought one of the cops was in it or something like, like one guy was gonna like I've been seeing too many like, backstabbings and double
Yeah.
crosses. Cause even what that one movie 999, which was in
Oh
top
yeah.
10, I saw it like a couple days ago, and literally everyone backstabbed each other in the last like 20 minutes. And I was like, you just like lose like
Like who can you
like
trust?
yeah, I don't know. You just lose the attachment to the characters after like the fourth round of backstabbing. So like I was
Yeah.
like, when she called the cops, I was like, here we go again. Like,
It's
I
like,
was like, I hope this doesn't happen.
it's clearly the guy that was like, oh, it's probably just a bunch of kids,
That's
man.
what I was thinking. I'm like, oh god, like this guy's gonna shoot the cop or something.
Yeah, so it
But
was nice.
I'm glad it didn't go that path.
Yeah, it was nice to finally, like, maybe not finally, but see that it wasn't that. And we're like, the wife wasn't useless, or like the kids, like, oh, like, here's the plan, go up there, call mommy, and then she like goes and then falls, and then you have to rescue her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was nice to
Yeah.
see them like all be good.
Yeah, and
But
you imagine, growing up in a place like that, I mean, most people do know how to hunt. They know
yeah,
how to navigate like
how to
woods
be out in
and
the cold.
mountains. Yeah, exactly. Which, speaking of which, the bad guy, Casson, the guy like it's like 20 degrees outside, never buttons his jacket.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
No,
like
no
with
hat,
his gray sweater, no hat. I'm like,
no
yeah, you got,
gloves, just chilling, like having a
like,
cigar, just like
yeah, that he looked warm. Everyone else was kind of cold, but
face with a little flush, the cheeks, but
so do you want to go next? Your favorite kill, best
yeah. So
kill?
let's run through. As always, we like to assemble these good look our favorite scenes and just talking points on every episode. So ours is what best kill. I'll let you go first.
Best kill. I loved. It was tough. There were a lot of good
There
ones,
were
but I kind of like just like some blunt attacks. So I do like just the axe to the face.
when from the second floor
From
when
the
he threw it
second
down.
floor, yeah, that was just like a nice headshot. And that sniper, he was just like pissed me off the whole movie because he was like the mini boss.
Yeah.
He was pretty tough. So I was then he took that like hot iron
The
thing
tongs,
to
I
the
think they're
neck.
called, right?
Yeah, the tongs to the neck.
Yeah, so in the movie there's like there's a scene towards the end where Jason Momoa is starting to like last ditch effort to defend the cabin, and he like heats up a bunch of stuff in the fireplace, and one of them is like these tongs, and he just grabs the guy and like pulls him in from the window.
Yeah,
like around the neck.
And then he gets an axe to the head, which was my favorite like kill shot. So what
Yeah,
about you? What was
that
your
was
favorite?
that was my original one, and then I switched it after I kind of rewatched the scenes.
Okay.
So my favorite one was the guy that in that same scene, there's a guy with like a shotgun that opens up the door and then like walks in, and Jason Momoa throws an axe to like his neck, and he's
The
like,
flaming
oh!
axe.
Yeah, flaming axe to the neck, and he's like, oh, and shoots a shotgun round to the sky, and then he takes like a jar of like vodka and like throws it at him and like pretty much lights him on fire like a Molotov cocktail. That guy had a rough day.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, no, that one was up there. I mean, you had the guy that like fell right on a rock.
Oh yeah,
While Jason Momoa is just like splashes around water.
yeah. So
right next to him.
that'll bring us to which goon took the most punishment in the movie.
Yeah, I'll go first. So for me, actually, the guy that took the most punishment was the guy you just mentioned.
With the
Who
axe
took
to
the
face.
flaming? Yeah, so he was the first one to get sniped by the dad. So he was like shot like in the I don't know clavicle or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Jason Momoa jumps off a tree and lands on top of him and starts punching him in the face with like a pistol. And then so the dude's already like fucked up. He's running through the woods, wounded. And then he comes in the store, gets a flaming axe to his chest, like Danny mentioned,
Yeah.
and a bottle of like vodka or whatever, moonshine, gasoline. I don't know what the hell it was.
I don't know what it was, but
the whole time I'm just like, this guy, he's just dragging himself.
I actually just to let you know like how ridiculous this movie is a little bit. I actually forgot that was the same guy that took all that punishment, or else I probably would have had him. Mine was the guy in the woods that the wife actually like fights for a bit. So this guy finds
He was my
Charlotte.
second guy.
Oh, well, okay, good. So this guy finds Charlotte, who's the daughter, the little girl, and is like chasing her. And then the mom comes out and like shoots him through the hand with an arrow. He pulls it out, and then she like starts to beat him with the crossbow. And then she pulls out like a little hunting knife and stabs him multiple times, but she has him like pinned, punches him in the face, and then runs away. And then later, he comes to the cabin like hobbling, like bleeding, drenched in blood. And then he chases the wife again. And then Jason Momoa comes in running from behind with like an axe, throws it to his back. And then the wife does this like Lara Croft, like turn around and shoot the arrow through the guy's neck. A lot of neck shots in this one, but
yeah. I think when he was running though, I think she shot him first, right? And then he turned around to go after her. I think, right? Didn't she like shoot him like in the shoulder or
oh
something?
yeah, because she said Joe or something, and then she shot him.
Yeah, because he was like firing, I think,
Yeah,
at him for a second. Yeah, that guy. The knifing. I'm surprised he got up. I thought he was done.
It's like
she stabbed him at least a dozen times with like a 6-inch blade. So,
it's so funny like watching these movies too, because I'm always like, or even shows, because I'm like, man, you know what? If I was the bad guy, I just be like, yo, fuck this. Like, I'm just gonna like lay here and pretend I'm like dead and just see how this plays out. Because like, what is like casting gonna be mad at you if like, oh man, I just took like an arrow to the face and like stabbed repeatedly. It took me a while to get back here. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have a movie, but yeah,
well,
if that was
like
me,
the guy just stays there and walks away. You see him in the woods in the background. It's like
I would just be like, "Hey, man, like I'm leaving. Like, thanks." I mean, I don't even in the beginning, like I don't understand why they didn't just deuce it out, right? Like,
well, I will say the only movie I can think that actually did that was that one Polar on Netflix.
Polar, yeah.
So towards the end, it's like he's like, all right, the main bad guy's like, this motherfucker wants to play, I'll play, let's do this. And he has like all his goons like standing like a mixtape in the background, and then you see him like walking in the front of the building, and then all the guys are like, yo, let's get out of here. And then they just start leaving the building, like walk past I forget the guy's name, Madison, whatever.
Mickelson. Yeah, I know
Mad something. But yeah, they all like, they're literally walking past him like, all right, let's get out of here. Like, fuck this. But
it's smart. I mean, why do you want to get, like an arrow through your neck for, a couple guys, I guess. Or hot tongues or whatever.
What's the next one you got?
So I got rank Cassin's navigation skills from 1 through 10.
Just for a little context, throughout the whole movie, if he wasn't just saying like, I want my bag, he was spouting like Halo 2 coordinates throughout the whole movie.
It got to a point where I'm just like, this guy, like, what's his background? Was he first of all, he's never even been there, because remember when he got there, he's like, what is this place, to the guy, and he's like, oh, like this blue mountain is that way, go up that way. And then they're following him in ATV, like they don't know what the direction they're going in, up a road, and then they're just like, go on the east.
Yeah,
and
flank him on this exterior road from the south side of that oak tree that was here 20 years. Like,
yeah. First of all, it's only like an ATV road. I don't understand how they're driving like an Escalade through it. But it's doing just fine. And they're telling the guy, oh yeah, go to the top of the mountain. Because I'm assuming the girl is there, because he knew that the girl was going to the top of the mountain to make a phone call.
Yeah, I would give him a solid 4 for effort, I would say.
You would give him a 4? I gave him like a 12.
Well, the guy's like he did give people like orders that they seem to follow. I don't know how, but because I would have been at one point, like I would have like went next to the guy like next to me and be like, yeah, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like,
yeah, the part that got me was telling the guy to go up the mountain, and then he just like did it no problem, and then he came back down like pretty easily back to the cabin, and that was the same guy who got stabbed.
Oh yeah,
a dozen times. And even the one guy that got thrown off like the cliff, he's like, yeah, flank him, we can flank him. Oh man, yeah, no, he was good.
I would just say it did remind me of like the old like Halo days of just, you go in like proximity chat if you're not playing in a party with people, and it's like you always have that one guy who's like, yo man, he's in the red east room on upper left floor, coordinates 4278. I'm like, yo, shut up, I don't know what you're talking about. Like tell me up or down.
Is on your six, those guys, like it's like, stop. Just tell them behind me. I don't need to know this. All right, so
yeah, so favorite scene.
Favorite scene. This one was a tough one. So can I go with my least favorite first? So my least favorite was actually the beginning bar scene with the dad.
Where the dad was getting beat up by like 8 guys who were like just clearly
it was
beating
a
up
little
a guy in his 70s.
It was a little cringe, like just watching him showing up and like grabbing the girl. And I was just like, even after that happened, I was like, that wasn't necessary just to have him go to the cabin. Like you could have came up with a better.
Yeah, he was at the like food store and he was like, or so, I don't know, something like, hey, I'm looking for someone, like causing a scene. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just.
I think it was just an excuse to show like Jason Momoa beat some dudes up in the beginning, set that tone. I don't know.
But favorite scenes. I mean, there's just so many good action ones, but my favorite one was actually just like him jumping off the fucking tree. I think.
Did they hit the goon?
Yeah, because because I didn't understand the benefit of that for him. I just thought it was a little wild, and like him jumping into the ocean, and like I don't know, he was like kind of badass, but then he also wasn't
like just bad. Yeah, that actually will bring me to both my favorite and least favorite scene, which is the same one, which is the end scene when he fights Kason on the on like the same cliff that he like fought the other guy apparently or whatever. But so he yeah, like the same like thinking, right? Like I'm not sure if he was like super badass or just super like bad, because he brings a bear trap to like, and I still don't know, like, because even Kason, like, I guess maybe the plan was to like get Kason to step on the bear trap because he hid it under like a little bit of snow. But then like Kason and him are fighting, and Kason kind of like he just beats him up pretty much. He's like, "Oh man, Joe!" Like he even says like, "Wait, what is that? Bear trap?" And then he starts laughing, like, "What? You were trying to get me to step on this?" And then so Jason Momoa just goes like, "Brr," yells, and proceeds to run after him, gets his foot stuck in the bear trap, and tackles Kason off the cliff. And then the bear trap is keeping Jason Momoa like upright, which, look, I don't know much about bear traps, but I don't think Jason Momoa is like a light guy. So you would think that weight would just pull like his leg off, but
yeah, unless it's like, I thought that maybe that was his
like original plan
initially. Yeah, because he had remember when he was pulling the rope through the woods?
Yeah.
And it was like a long rope, so like he had tied. So I thought maybe that was his plan to kind of just like. But I mean, I don't understand why he didn't think he could just beat him one-on-one.
Also, like you just went through like 30 minutes of him throwing stuff with like precision accurate, like 100% precision to people's faces. Like you would think he would just bring like a few axes or whatever he has left over and just like, just throw them, like, or just send his wife after him.
Can we talk about how right before that fight scene though, how he just like freaking like ninja took the bag of drugs off of him?
Oh, when he like just shoved him?
He just shoved him, nudged him to the ground, and just like the next scene, he has like 2 backpacks on, and he's like running away. I'm like, I had to rewind that because it happened so fast. I'm like, wait. I'm like, why didn't you just kill him there or something?
Exactly. That's one of those like, why? Like he seemed so like competent where he could have just killed him, or like instead of taking the bags, he could have probably just snapped his neck or something. Like big dude.
Like he had the jump on him, but instead he just wanted to play in the snow. I mean, so that part kind of like got me confused. And the bear trap thing. I mean, it wasn't the best death. So some of the other, I think the rock kill was probably, like the best, the best fight scene where he tied him to the ATV and dragged him off. I don't know. I guess he seems like he's done this before, where he's thrown people off cliffs, because he's pretty, he's pretty creative. He's pretty creative on these over the cliff kills to try to make them look like accidents. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like I don't love when movies go over like everyone's backstory. It's like, oh, I forgot to mention he's an ex special forces, top of his class, this and that. I'm like, oh, I think the guy was just like a logger in Canada that owned his own company and like hunts. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So it's cool to see him be like kind of badass, but on the other end of that, he was like a little too badass. So I guess it's like one of those balancing where it's like, well, he's just badass, so like he does dumb things to us.
I
But
guess, yeah. He
I
just wasn't
don't know.
like shook at all. Like
No.
he was shook in some parts, but then like he was like you said, like it would shift because like when the guy got shot in the head in the beginning,
Oh, his friend or his employee or
yeah, he
whatever.
looked like terrified, right?
Yeah.
But then he comes back and decides to like stuff a bag with like you know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean? Like he's
shoot a guy
just
in the face with an arrow.
with
Like,
an arrow,
like,
exactly. So that happens almost like right after. So I'm just like, is he playing around that he's shook, or is he
yeah.
really?
But let's, we won't read too much into it
But
because
I don't care. It
like
was whatever.
if you want me to write up a fanfic, I can, but we'll say that for different.
He ex Black Ops has
Yeah.
PTSD.
Well, he was actually the one who trained Peppermint when she disappeared for 5 years or three, whatever.
I actually thought since it was the same background, same location, I thought this was actually the prequel to Aquaman. In was it Justice League? Was it when Ben Affleck goes to get him
in the shanty fishing town or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was. I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe that's an alternate reality where like his wife and daughter did die, and then he goes there, and then he like suddenly finds out he's Aquaman. Like,
yeah. Because didn't you just find it convenient how he fell in the water and didn't get hurt? Like obviously,
He
like
didn't
a
seem
whale
cold either.
caught him or something.
Yeah, he didn't seem cold either. He did put on the hat and then immediately
and then took it off.
Yeah, he put it on the guy's hat and like I was like, oh cool, that's like a very cool like survival little like thing they put in there. Then he immediately just takes it off by taking off his shirt, and I was like, well, that was pointless, but
yeah,
it was one of those things like no, like it shouldn't bother anyone, but it bothered me, and I don't know why. But
you know what it was? I think it was actually like they did film it there, so I think he was actually probably really cold, and his first instinct was probably like, let me put on a hat, but then he's like, I gotta take off my shirt, so then I gotta take this hat off, and then it was like a little
you man to the corpse, like
it was a little like awkward getting dressed because he was probably really cold in real life. So
I did like that.
I appreciated that though. That was a little. So what we got here?
Yes. So
do you like the movie?
I liked it. Like, I will say the first, and we talked about it a little bit, the first 30 minutes definitely dragged, but it was watchable because I think the acting was pretty good. Like Jason Momoa he's a good actor. Like I know people give him like some like nonsense about just being, he's just like another tall, handsome guy, like, but he can act. I've seen him in other things. Like I think he's in that Netflix show, The Frontier, which is very similar vibe of like the character he played in this one. Just his other character is much more badass. But Stephen Lang he's like an OG for like those kind of either elderly badass dad, elderly soldier, like just he's a badass.
He kills dinosaurs too, and that awful dinosaur show on Fox.
Was he? He was an Avatar too, wasn't he?
He was an Avatar.
Guy.
Yeah.
Then Garrett Dillahunt, who I didn't expect to be. He wasn't super intimidating, but like he got the job done for his character. Like he's pretty intimidating for this role. And I don't know
that actually surprised me.
Yeah, well,
because when I first saw him, I was like,
he has that face.
He won me over. Yeah, he's like too pretty to be like a bad guy.
Yeah, and I always feel like
he did well.
Like, doofy face too, where he's just like, hey guys, what's up? Like,
yeah. But the scene where they introduce him, where he just like bashes the dude's head in the table.
Yeah,
and then he just tells like the waiters to like shush.
Yeah, just like puts his finger up like shh.
Yeah, I'm like, wouldn't they just call the cops?
So do you recommend it, or do you like it? Or?
Yeah, this is like up my alley for action movies. I think it's the same reason why I like Peppermint. Like it's just like it takes place in like 2-hour time span.
Yeah.
There's really not much outside of it besides they're on a mountain and he just has to face off against like 8 guys, right? It's like more of a survival, and it has awesome kills. It has similar kills to like the Commando, like the old school movies where it was like gory as heck, but like over the top ridiculous kills. Where it's like you're just not shooting someone. You're
no pipe and steam through the chest, but they got pretty close with some of those.
Close. I mean, someone got killed by a boulder, bear trap, trap. I mean, the tongs, hot
Oh
tongs to the
yeah, that
neck,
hurt me, man. I was like, and then somehow
yeah,
the guy didn't die. Like,
flaming axe. I mean,
yeah, many flaming objects. Even the arrows that he used, he like heated them up for some reason, which is, I didn't quite get the point, but
yeah, I guess just in case
gee,
he had to
just in
like,
case.
I don't know, in case he had to like rub it on someone's face. But it was, I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, no, I
It fit my appetite for
yeah,
winter action movies. And you notice, like, I don't know, some of these movies are all like in cold places, right? Like,
yeah,
or it's at least wintertime. Peppermint was in LA, but it was Christmas time.
yeah.
Avo's in Boston. It looked chilly,
It's always chilly there, but
yeah,
uh,
you got this movie, and we forgot to mention, but it did get 77% Rotten Tomatoes
yeah. So a
and
little higher.
82% Google reviews. So
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes was a little higher than I expected, but
me too.
I have think it's mainly because people love Jason Momoa. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah. That
I,
actually got me a little confused though, because Peppermint I think got what, like 16%.
I think it might have even got lower on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah, yeah, 16 or 12 or something like that.
something like
But
that.
it's, I don't know. It's not that much different than this. I don't know.
Would
Like,
you say which one do you enjoy more?
I mean, I like this one more because
Yeah,
it's
me
like
too.
less hoopla involved. You know what I mean? Like, it's
And
just like guy in a
no
mountain
cops were
cabin.
corrupt.
Yeah, yeah, and all that. Like, yeah. I mean, but I don't know. As far as like action movies go, I mean, I don't see it being like 60% different.
I will say I'm happy at least it scored better than expected because maybe that means they'll make another one, or I don't know who directed this one, but maybe that means like the director will make another. It would be cool to see that. And I'm always a fan of these movies that don't maybe do so well in the box office but get reviewed well, because I feel like it gives like people like Jason Momoa, who are big stars, and like Stephen Lang more like incentive to like do passion stuff like this, because I feel like it's a trend with like Jason Momoa doing these wilderness type, because he even has that iTunes exclusive one where he
Oh
plays
yeah,
like a
See, I think it's called.
tribal blind person. Yeah, like Seen or Unseen. I forget the name of it, but which I don't even know how to watch that. I don't know if I have to like subscribe or
Yeah, you have to
something.
subscribe to Apple.
Yeah, so I might not. But
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's the one I don't have.
yeah, that's Braven. Yeah, I think it's safe to say we both recommend that one. Definitely a good holiday action movie. So
Yeah, great kill scenes.
yeah.
It's a good action movie through and through. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was surprised. I thought it
Yeah.
was gonna be pretty bad. But the length of the movie is, so it's an hour and a half, but it's actually like an hour 15 minutes. Like, because the first opening credits, like the movie doesn't start until the 7 minute mark.
Oh, really?
And yeah, because they show you all the wilderness opening credits. It's like mountain, owl,
Yeah,
reindeer, and I'm
I should probably
like,
leave those on. I always like skip.
I kept like skipping 15. I'm like, when does this movie start? I was like 15, 15, 15. And then they show like the lumber falling. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, it's at the 7 minute mark. And then the movie ends at the like 128 mark or something like that. Or like 125. So I'm like 12 to 15 minutes off the bat are just credits. So yeah, it's like an hour 15 minute. It's a quick watch. So
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, somehow it felt longer than that to me, but not complaining. I enjoyed it. I'm not a real big fan of the drama. Like, I don't mind drama because we'll go over some of my stuff, which is pretty much drama, but um, I don't know, the forced drama, I would say.
yeah, like with the dad stuff, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and even
In the
like
beginning and
yeah, and
stuff.
involving the wife and the kid, and but
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
it's, to keep you on the edge of your seat,
yeah, yeah,
in case they get hurt or
make
whatever.
you
But
involved and invested, I guess.
yeah,
But
I mean, it was still good.
yeah. So
But
do you want to move on to our the other part of this episode, top
yeah,
5?
let's do it. Do you want to? We're doing top 5 shows slash docu series.
Yeah,
Since I
and
feel like
movie,
there were a
yeah,
few,
and
and top
movies.
5 movies. But we're gonna do top 5 shows slash docu series in one bucket, and top 5 movies in another bucket. And maybe some honorable mentions that you just even want to like shout out.
Yeah, and this is definitely stuff we've seen in 2020, because 2020 has just a year for content. I wouldn't say if it was just that, my list would be like one thing. So
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, we haven't seen everything, so
yeah, for sure.
before people get mad at us for having something on a list,
Yeah, it's
I don't have access to a lot of streaming services,
yeah.
not a lot,
So
but like Apple or
yeah, I don't have
even
Apple, but
Hulu here and there. I have Hulu here and there, depending on the free stuff they provide.
yeah. So if you don't agree with us, we either didn't see it or we'll just leave it at that, right? If
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
not on this
yeah,
list,
yeah.
we didn't see it. We'll
We
just
didn't
say
see it. Yeah.
that. It might be. You're probably right, but yeah. Do you want to go first with movies
Yeah. You want to do movies?
or shows?
No, yeah. We'll go. Should we start? I'll go start with number 5 first. So number 5 with movies, I actually just put like all of them in one bucket. So it's actually I just put streaming comedies
Okay.
because I couldn't pick one. So I put it's a little cop out of an answer, but if I had to pick one, I think I would actually pick My Spy as my favorite with Batista and the little girl
Oh, okay. I
streaming
didn't
on
see it.
Amazon.
Yeah.
So I have My Spy, Coffee and Kareem, Lovebirds, and Eurovision all in one
Okay.
bucket because they're all kind of like the same shit. But they're all like, cheesy, easy comedies. But I think I would actually I liked My Spy a lot just because being a girl dad, I kind of thought it was kind of cute and funny and whatever. But
Okay. I don't
yeah,
know
it's
if I saw it. Yeah.
random, but it's a good movie. I liked it.
Good old Batista,
Good
the
old
lesser
Batista. Batista was
successful
funny.
WWE star.
Hey, you know what? He's good though. I
Yeah,
like
no,
him.
I like him as an actor. It's tough, because
Yeah, he's like
you're gonna
because
get
you think of The
compared.
Rock. Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
compared all the time. Yeah, at least he's better than Triple H.
Who? The only thing I remember him in and it was
Oh,
Blade
Blade.
Trinity, I
That's.
think,
I think that was
which
the
was
only thing he was
awful
in.
too. That was with Dracula and who's the other guy I hate?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
No,
there you go.
I was just joking.
No, that's him.
All
Okay.
right, did you want to go with your number 5?
Yeah, well, I don't have them in order necessarily, so I'll
Okay.
just go with I guess my number 5 would be this was actually a Netflix original, #Alive, which is
Okay.
a Korean zombie movie, and it's basically like
That
this.
looked good. I didn't watch
It
it
was
though.
good actually. It was super entertaining. It was like he's like 17 and he there's basically like a zombie apocalypse that happens and he's stuck in his apartment. He lives with his parents and stuff, but his parents left for a meeting or to work, and he like overslept and woke up at like 3 p.m. He's like, "Oh, where's everyone?" And then like there's like fire and like people running in the hallways, and so it's basically him having like survive in the apartment for a while alone and like not leaving, and then eventually he starts to like venture out like daily to like get supplies, and towards the end he meets someone like across from his apartment because he's like on like the 7th floor or something, and they make a plan to like escape together. So it's pretty cool, and it was funny because they had like that current genre of like esports streaming where he like was a big streamer, so he had like an audience. So during the movie he has like he's doing like live broadcast hoping it'll go out to like his viewers. So on one of them he's like, yeah, I'm scared and I'm nervous and everything's going to shit and I just want my parents back and I wish everyone's safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe and like follow me or whatever. I'm like, true. Like fucking zombie apocalypse. He saw people get like their face eaten and he's just like and subscribe, smash that like button,
Yeah,
like
he's probably making some reels on his Instagram. Yeah, trying to get some
boom
followers.
headshot. But yeah, that one was pretty good.
No, that sounds good. I got it. I saw the trailer. I like zombies, so I'm gonna give that one a watch. Number 4 for me, I have a little more serious. I didn't think I would actually like it, but I did like it. That's why it's number 4. But Trial of the Chicago 7,
Okay.
or it's like a political court thing, but it's just like good actors and just the way it's shot. It's like present day. They're in the court. Basically a group of like guys. I don't want to get into it. Like
Yeah.
one's a professor, one's like a hippie. Sacha Baron Cohen's in it. He kind of kills it. He actually does really well because I think of him as Borat, and I always forget he's actually like a really good actor.
So I was gonna say, so was he serious in this one? Like,
No, yeah,
he was
he
serious.
was. Yeah, he was playing like the hippie guy, but he was
Okay.
just like a smart like hippie and stuff. And it's based on the true story where like these guys are protesting the Vietnam War. They basically get beat up by the cops, and then basically like they're trying to prosecute these guys for like starting a riot, even though the
Okay.
police were the ones that started it. So it's kind of like hits at home a little bit with the whole, Black Lives Matter movement and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Kind of came out at that right time, but just the way it's shot, because it was shot like present day is like the case, but then you find out more and more about what happened at the riot. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
Oh, cool. Well, giving in that kind of theme of Vietnam era, my number 4, The Five Bloods.
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
actually liked it more than I thought I would originally. Um, it's and just to recap on it real quick, it's basically, I guess, 4 African American Vietnam vets that go back to Vietnam to get like the gold they stashed away, and then there's kind of flashbacks basically young them, which is just them like on the what's the setting that you have on the Zoom calls where it's like like pretty
Touch up,
yeah, touch
to
up
the
like touch
max.
up to max. And it had Chad Bodwick on it too and
Yeah,
stuff. Chadwick
Chadwick
yes.
Boseman. Yeah,
Bozeman, yeah.
yeah.
But
He actually just had a. I mean, he's dead, but
yeah,
R.I.P.
well the
But
Netflix
the new Netflix one. I think it was the last movie he made. So,
yeah,
and that was actually our last podcast we did before the break, the
yeah.
Five Bloods. Which yeah, that one I had as that one would have probably been in my top 5. I just know we covered it, so I like whatever. But
Yeah,
it was definitely one of my favorite movies.
yeah, and I definitely liked it. Yeah, not much to say. You just kind of got to watch it. It's gonna have it's a Spike Lee joint. So if you're familiar with his work, you'll either love it or hate it, depending on it. If you like his stuff, so. But I ended up liking it more than I thought I would. So it's definitely on my list for favorite of that I watched in 2020.
Yeah, well cast too. I mean, the guy
Yeah.
that's in it, the son, he's in Lovecraft. I actually started watching that. I know you said you liked this, so I started watching it. I'm up to the 4th episode. But the
Okay.
first 2 episodes hooked me with the wizards.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And he kills it. He's awesome in it. I think he's gonna be like a stud.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's just like a good actor all through and through. So, all right.
Whatever.
So
Number 3?
Yeah, number 3. This one actually came out this year in theaters. But it's on HBO. Invisible Man.
Oh, with
the
Peggy from Mad Men, and also
and
and Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. It's actually, I don't know if you've watched it. I think you would actually love that movie.
I've seen like you know on YouTube you sometimes get like those movie clips, and it's like they're like 1 through 9. That's as much as I've seen it.
I got it like in the horror mood this Halloween for some reason, which I kind of do sometimes. But so I saw like Us finally, and I saw Invisible Man, which it was actually good. I didn't think it's really it's very enjoyable because it's just some like douchebag and some like invisible suit like like fucking with her, but it's a good movie. I mean,
yeah, I'll definitely watch. I heard people liked it. It was more when I first heard that it was coming out, I was like, ugh, sounds awful. But people seem
me too.
It was more of like an actual horror movie, and it was also like there was no redeeming quality of like the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even a horror movie. It's actually like a thriller. Like it's almost like a chase thriller because she's like running away and like people don't believe her.
Where is it streaming?
HBO.
Okay.
So that one's really good. I liked it. So what about you?
My number 3. So it was a movie that came out in I think late 2019, but I saw it this year with my boy Scott Adkins and Avengement. It's
I saw that movie.
Worst name for a movie, but it was
pretty good.
I remember watching it. Like first, I'm just like, if I click on a Scott Adkins movie, I know it's gonna be just whatever. But it's like one of those like old Jean-Claude type people that you watch the movie, they're just mindless action, just throw it on. I actually really liked it. It was
wait, that's the one he goes to prison.
Yeah, he's like an amateur.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like an amateur boxer or something, and his brother is like a gangster or something in London, I think. And he does like a job for him, and then I think he kills like some bystander by accident.
On the street. Or
something. And then he gets sent to prison for years, and then I forget the reason. I think it's the brother trying to kill him to like shut things down and prevent him from snitching. But he like constantly gets attacked in prison. So basically he has to go from like kind-hearted amateur boxer, never ever getting into trouble, to like this fucking hooligan hench, like taking on 7 people at once, stabbing people in prison to stay alive. and then basically he gets out of prison, and the whole rest of basically the whole movie takes place in like in the bar where his brother is, because he's like, let me tell you guys a story, in his like weird accent and his like, a metal jaw now. And it's basically just flashbacks of him surviving and how he got into this point, and him breaking out, like visiting his deceased mother, I think it was, and he like disarmed 5 cops and like escaped to go kill the brother. And then even if you don't watch the whole movie, the last fight scene in the bar alone is worth just a watch. It's on Netflix. Scott Adkins is awesome. He did a lot of like choreography for, a lot of the big action movies in the last few years. So it's nice to see him be the lead on stuff, because he knows how to do shit. So his stuff is always very like visceral and very heavy hitting. So when he hits someone with a chair, you half think he actually hit that motherfucker with a chair.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's the kind of stuff I like. So
yeah, I mean, you don't watch those movies for like acting and stuff. You watch that movie for the action. And
he's not a bad actor,
that movie. Yeah, he's not terrible, but I mean, those movies are just like, they're more like independent.
Yeah.
Low budget type, but they're awesome. I actually enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, so
that one's a good movie.
I would give Avengement definitely a recommendation if you're for another holiday action.
So what are we up to? Number 2?
2.
All right, so I have Palm Springs as my number 2.
Palm Springs
on Hulu.
Was that a documentary about some?
No. It's like almost like Groundhog's Day with It's like hold on. It's with the guy from SNL from Brooklyn.
Oh, when they like relive the same day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw trailers for that. Yeah.
It's actually really good. So if you have Hulu, that was actually probably like my favorite movie of the year. But I saw it a while ago, but it's really good. So like the guy he's stuck in like a time loop, and then he brings in a girl that like he's stuck in a time loop at a wedding.
Yeah.
And then he sucks in a girl by accident, and then she's stuck in the time loop with him. And then you find out like he's been doing this for like I don't know how many 100 days, and he can't get out because the time loop was like in this cave that she followed him through, and someone's like hunting him down too, but only sometimes. So it's actually pretty funny because the guy's stuck in the time loop too because of him. But then he finds out like the guy is like loving the fact he's stuck in a time loop because like he's already like in his 50s and he has like 2 young kids. So he like does different things. Like he's like, this is the greatest day of my life. He's like, I have a great family, whatever. But then you find out, and they do shit, and she tries to get out of the time loop. They eventually get out of the time loop. But it's a good watch. It's funny, like
Yeah, I saw trailers for it, and I'm like, it doesn't look bad. It's like one of those I need to watch it by accident, or like or just.
Yeah. No, I think that was the thing. I actually did the Hulu like free trial just to watch it because I saw the trailer and I was like, oh man, like I love Groundhog's Day. I just love that concept. Time loops. I don't know. And the fact that it was like the fact that it was a comedy and not like someone trying to assassinate someone. I was like, great.
But didn't you like One Time show on Netflix?
You
recommended to me, yeah, Shadow Moon or
Shadow
something.
Moon.
I still didn't watch it, but
you know what, was that 2020? Because that would be my number 1. Actually, I don't know if that was 2020.
We'll just say it was. All right, we'll just say.
Yeah, my bad. His name Andy Samberg. I forgot.
Oh, okay, yeah, that guy.
Yeah. He, I don't really love him, but sometimes I think he's funny. But he was good in this.
I would say my number 2 would be The Old Guard.
Oh, okay.
We actually did an episode on that one. Basically,
did we do an episode?
Yeah, I thought so, right?
I don't know.
We might have to.
Maybe.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's basically immortals, like immortal mercenaries, and they just. I don't remember much of the plot, but I really liked the movie. It was
that was in kind of beginning ish of the pandemic. That one was actually my number 1.
Yeah,
the Old Guard.
I would say I just really liked it because it was, even though it's not necessarily unique, because they essentially did the same bad guy. Well, they did the same group of people that was the bad guy in like an anime that they released on Netflix, Ajin, Ajin, which similar premise. It's like immortals, but they can like summon things. But there's one bad guy in that show, and he's basically like an ex special forces mercenary that is just a bad guy, and he's in it for like kind of the
He
fun,
wa-
causing
yeah.
chaos and stuff. And he actually uses like, he's a badass in his own right, but if he's getting like killed, or if he's gonna like getting outnumbered or whatever, he'll like kill himself because they recharge faster, and he'll actually use that as like a tactical method of like taking out a bunch of guys. But yeah, I just liked it because it was something original, and I would love to see a movie like that into like a show. That would be awesome. Like every episode is like a standalone mission or something like that. But I
Yeah.
really like that one.
They left it open, Old Guard. I remember the
Oh
ending.
yeah,
So I'm hoping, because what the lady under the water
yeah, she's
came
alive.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's based off a graphic novel as well, so I know there
Okay.
is more stuff out there for them to make a sequel, which I
Yeah,
hope. I enjoyed it. That
I
was my
enjoyed it.
number one. So what was your number one?
Number one, Dragon Quest: Your Story.
Dra-
Yeah, on Netflix. It was it's an animated movie, but it's takes place in the Dragon Quest universe, which is like a role playing game. Like back in the day, it's still out now, but they had like Final Fantasy, different numbers. I think they're on like 12 or something. But yeah, it was just cool because it was both entertaining, but also surprisingly like emotional, because like you follow the dad in game or in the movie, and then the dad gets turned into stone, like protecting his family, and then you follow like the son that's going to rescue him, and they like both save the world, and then you find out some like twist at the end, which I won't blow because it was like kind of, it was both cringe but also like, okay, like I don't mind that. It's super weird. So if you play like games or RPGs specifically, you'll actually really enjoy like the twist in the end. And it's actually cool. I saw it with my wife and we both enjoyed it. It was like one of those like low key, like, like little swelling on the eyes,
Little
surprisingly,
swelling
but
in
it was
the.
like pretty entertaining. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. I never even seen that
It's on
trailer for it.
Netflix.
So I'll try.
Yeah.
Hey, you know how they cater to like what you watch, even though action movies are always in top 10. So like that caters to everyone.
Yeah,
But
well, it got me with it has like a bunch of horror Korean ones specifically that came up recently, I guess new, and it's all over my feed. And I'm like, I guess they're
okay.
trying to tell me that's what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, mine is like mixed with like bunch of random kid stuff, and then it's like action movies,
Yeah.
and then like baking shows because that's what my
Yeah,
wife
mine's
watch.
like
Which
well, I
it's a
looked the other
great
day and
British
my
baking show, by the way.
and home renovation ones are good.
Yeah, yeah. I would say like the baking show is probably like my number one show, but that's like not, I can't say that.
Yeah, sometimes my
Wait, did I
feed
say
is
that? Oh,
like,
damn.
no, just edit that. But sometimes my feed is like so confused because it's like, here's like, the most gruesome horror movie for some reason, or like the most gruesome action movie, and then here's Ben 10, and I'm like, what? Like, why? Like,
It's like
but
foreign horror movies.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so let's get into the shows.
yeah,
The shows. Should we start? You want me to start first? Number
yeah, no
five.
particular order,
All
but
right. So once again, doing shows / docu series. So number five, I actually have as it came out like right in the beginning, so January. The last season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
oh, okay,
I just thought it was hilarious,
yeah.
and at that time, I think I was on paternity leave when I started watching it, and it was just
Just
great.
like, yeah, just good laugh.
And like my daughter was actually like for some reason she didn't mind watching it. A lot of the stuff she watches with me, like, and she actually like dropped the F-bomb. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's
all right,
good.
I can't watch this with you
Yeah,
anymore. But it's just, yeah, it's so funny. It's just like stupid comedy. So
yeah.
it's great. I like it. But yeah, that was my fifth one.
Fifth one for me, Nightfall on Netflix,
Oh,
which I mentioned it I think last week or the episode before, but basically generic like drama action, Knights Templar, secret societies. The main character's after the Holy Grail, and then he figures out like there's a secret society that's after the Holy Grail because the Pope is evil. It's very like Assassin's Creed, like old Assassin's Creed back in that period. minus like the future sci-fi nonsense that they go with. But
Yeah, you know, I actually forgot after our last podcast, I forgot I actually saw like 6 episodes because it was on the History Channel. That's where it
yeah, I
first
think
came
that's
out.
where it originally was.
And I remember when it first launched, that was when I first started watching it because I was like, oh, history, like I love Vikings.
Yeah,
And it's kind of based on some historical stuff loosely. And Knights Templar is awesome. But
yes,
yeah, I never finished it, but I think it's on Netflix, you said?
yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh,
And I think it's worth.
maybe I'll go back to watch.
It's worth a watch. It's just enjoyable. It's definitely, you know, it's it's like it's a History Channel show, you know, and it's not as good as Vikings. So take that.
Yeah. I think that's what it was like for me. I'm like, it's not as good as Vikings. I was hoping it was. Oh, because season 1 of Vikings was like pretty awesome.
It was good.
Season
Yeah,
2
no, it's
was
really
like
good.
really good.
So when you compare those two, it's like, not as good, but it's an entertaining show, and I think it's only, I want to say it's like 3 seasons, maybe 2 seasons, and I don't think they have any plans of doing another. So I like closure, so I would recommend that one.
Me too. All right, so number 4, this is a docu-series, which I think this.
You're in your docu-series 2020, man.
Well, yeah, no, this was, this is the first docu-series on the list. So I have a Tiger King. Just because like it was so ridiculous, and it just like the trending of that show, like everyone was talking about it. It was hilarious, even like amongst our friends. Just like this is real life. Like, wait, this is actually happening in our country. It just showed like a bizarre part of the U.S. that like no one, at least around my circles, knew about. And I think a lot of circles. So it was just interesting, and their stories were crazy. Like the owner of the. So yeah, that was number 4, just because I think the impact. I'm not saying it was great, but it was just like it was the thing that it was right at the start of the peak of the pandemic.
Yeah,
when that thing
where
came
people
out.
were already going crazy because they were on lockdown for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. So I think like 2020, like I think of that show. That's
like a good summary of most of it.
Yeah, it's
I guess
like
for a lot of people,
Tiger King. I don't know.
My number 4 was Lovecraft Country, which I won't have to get too much into, but I just like the theme. It's cool to see like all African American like cast as well. And I just love the Lovecraftian kind of genre of like horror, where like this horror, but it's that real cosmic type shit that doesn't make any sense. It's like, like, well, I don't know how much you've seen. You said episode 4. I don't know what you've seen so far, but
to me, I like it because it's like great storytelling.
And it's weird too.
It reminds me of a little bit of like the Tales of the Crypt type story, where it's like it's a story, right? It's a good story, but then it's just like some weird shit happens, and then it's like what, like
even like a similar like American horror story or American Horror, whatever that show is. I forget the name. I haven't watched all of them, but similar to that, where like it's just some of it just doesn't make sense, but the storytelling is so good and the characters are good actors, and it's pretty good. So that was like definitely my number 4. That's on HBO.
I'm looking forward to completing that for sure. So
what number are we on? Episodes. Number three.
Let's see. I have another one that's like popular, I guess. Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
On Netflix. It's recency bias too, but I just thought it was a good show. But everyone knows what the hell it's about. So
yeah, chess, and they made it interesting. Enough said. Like, speaking about enough said, my number 3 is another anime, but Vinland Saga.
Yeah,
which is
dude, you love that show. I'm surprised.
It's so
I thought that
good.
would be your number 1.
So good. I was thinking about it, but I have something more cringe on my number 1. Yeah, it's basically a Viking anime, which normally you'd be like, either roll your eyes or be like, enough said, sign me up. But it's actually like really good. Like the storytelling, the writing, the character growth is amazing. Like even the bad guy in it, who's not necessarily like the bad guy, but even he has tremendous amount of character growth, that like just the writing alone, even though it's still like a little bit cheesy, a little bit anime, the writing is much better than most high budget shows. Like the writing in this is better than some episodes of Game of Thrones, like them like hammering it, like just, so it's interesting to see
much, but
yeah, true. But like some of the character growth is similar to like Jon Snow's character, where you see him progress and you're like, oh, this is a different guy, and like he was one of the only interesting characters to me, even though I like made fun of him throughout like the first 2 or 3 seasons. I'm like, Jon Snow,
Fucking Johnson.
fucking guy. But yeah, Vinland Saga. That's on I think Hulu is where I saw it originally. Or no, Amazon. Sorry.
No. So
Number
number
two,
2, I have The Mandalorian.
of course. Okay. Which I still
Last
need
that
to watch, but
Yeah, the season 1 wasn't even probably my top 10. I thought season 1 wasn't that good, but they came through on season 2. I thought it was just good, and it ended very well. Spoiler. Do you care, Danny? Since you probably know what happens anyway.
I do.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm like, who am I talking to? This guy, like,
I love
you know more about the shows I watch, and these shows
without
are
watching.
shows you don't even watch. But yeah, Luke
I
coming
like
at
being
the end was pretty
informed.
cool. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Even though there was like little, because like Bo-Katan gets shot like at the end, but then like literally a second later, she's like standing up and like saying bye to Grogu. So that like part didn't really make any sense because she got shot like 10 times. But I'll excuse that little hiccup because Luke was there, and it was just a good series, good season.
Yeah, I
From the
haven't.
first to then.
I didn't see the scene with Luke, but I was vividly described it. So I'll get to Disney at some point and check it out. Disney
Yeah,
Plus
yeah.
at least.
Maybe next year with all the other stuff coming out.
Oh yeah, that is number 2, right? My number 2 is Kingdom on Netflix. Netflix original, actually. Korean drama with zombies.
Yes,
It
yes.
takes place. I
It
think
takes place what in
like
the
feudal, like
samurai
1598. I think
time or
I have
something
it
like
right
that?
here. Yeah,
Is it like samurai?
1598
Something like
after the Japanese invasion or attempted invasion of Korea. I don't know, something like that. But 1598. So it's basically like feudal Korea with swords and muskets, and it's a zombie outbreak essentially.
Wait, was that season 2 that came out this year?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
I saw them both at the same time because I binged it because it was so good, but super interesting with the time period, with the different culture. I don't think we've seen like swords and zombies, and for this, and they're the fast zombies too, like the 28
Those freak me
zombies.
out, man. Those freak me out. I can't watch
Oh,
fast zombies.
oh my, yeah, dude, they're terrifying, and it makes sense. Like it just the story was real good. The power hungry like official, the queen who's like a total bitch, like out to kill the prince, and she's crazy, but she makes an awesome bad guy. Yeah, it's really interesting, infinitely better than like The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead makes no sense to me besides the nonsense drama and like the slow zombies where literally just stand on a flight of stairs with like a broom and just like knock them down. You know what I mean? These are like super fast zombies that are knocking down not secure buildings, and like barriers made out of wood and spikes and stuff. They're just like running through them and stuff. Super, yeah. I can't recommend it highly enough. Super entertaining.
Yeah, I remember when that first came out, the trailers of it like scared me. And I didn't know. I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know.
The thing is too, it's like it's creepy, man. It's definitely like a horror, more of a horror. It has good action though, I will say. Like the choreography is actually pretty good. Because there is like some human on human fighting, but even like them fighting zombies because they can't get bit. So it's a lot of like graceful flowing in the wind and turns and very creative ways of like maneuvering. It's really cool. I recommend it.
All right, so down to our number 1.
Oh yeah, number 1. Let's see. Yeah, here yours.
This one's like, I mean, if you know me, the last dance, Michael Jordan documentary. To me, that was like the best show. For me, obviously, this is all opinions.
Yeah. And remember, if your show wasn't on this, we just didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, and I'll name like 2 shows after my list. If you want to remove my docu-series from my top 5, I wrote down like 2 more, but not in order. But Last Dance. I mean, I love basketball. The Jordan story. It was the first time you hear things from Jordan's perspective, so it was pretty cool. But cool. What about yours?
Was that ESPN?
Yeah, ESPN, but then it like came out on Netflix.
Okay.
I think like right after. I don't know if it was simultaneous. I forget, but I saw it on ESPN.
Gotcha. Yeah, so my number 1, and I'm still not done because I'm actively watching it because it's a long drama. K2, which is a Korean drama. It's a basically a former mercenary soldier turned reluctant bodyguard, I would say.
Is this anime
No,
or
it's
it's a real?
it's a real Korean drama
Okay,
from
okay,
Korea,
okay,
like South
okay,
Korea. Yeah, basically he has to guard like the hidden daughter of the presidential candidate, but then he finds out that the guy who killed his old lover, who like he proposed to, and she said yes, and then she like, because he was like a private military contractor or something in like Iraq, and he met like some lady there, and fell in love with her, and she was a translator, but then she gets killed by some guy that he doesn't know, or doesn't he doesn't know who he was, and then he finds out that he's actually the other presidential candidate running, who's like into like arms dealing and things like that. So he vows revenge against him, but now he's falling in love with the daughter of the other presidential candidate, who he has to like become a bodyguard to now.
oh man.
Yeah, it's so cheesy, and it's
It sound what's
it,
the streaming on?
Netflix.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those like guilty pleasures of mine, of just a show you don't binge because it's just too. I think each episode is like an hour long, and there's like 79 of them.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, you don't binge that. At least I don't. But I've been watching
No.
it for like 4 months or 5 months. I'll finish it eventually, but it's
No,
so
no, no wonder
entertaining.
I'm like,
Man.
hey man, have you watched this? You're like, no, I'm busy. It's because
Yeah,
you're
I'm
on
not
like
busy.
the 60th episode of some Korean drama.
Yeah, so I don't know. I recommend it. I have a very well, I can't even say specific taste because my list is literally a mashup. But yeah, I like it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. So that's
So
my
you
number
want to
one.
do I guess some honorable mentions where we just name the title. We could do movie shows, shows, anything that you've watched that you even want to say the title of.
I would say anime for me, Black Clover. I saw that at some point this year. Another one I'm not done with entirely, but it was just entertaining. It's magic based and stuff. So like I like stuff that has magic involved in it, especially anime.
No. I got a few, so I put The Boys is up there. They didn't make my top 5, but
Okay.
I got The Barbarians, which I thought you would actually probably like since you like Vikings and you like
I didn't
closure.
watch that one yet.
That was actually probably like numbers. I did like my own top 10, and that was like number 9 on my list. But it's pretty good. It's filmed in Germany, and it's based on the Barbarians, which were Germans, and it's based on sort of like a true story about the leader of the German, who was actually like part of the Romans and betrayed the Romans because he
Okay.
was actually like a German, and he was the reason why the barbarians beat the Romans and freed like Germany of Roman rule. And
Oh.
it's pretty interesting, like when you hear the history of it, because like at World War II time, like Hitler actually was like, oh yeah, we got to be like this guy, like freed Germany. So apparently, a lot of once Hitler, went away and
Yeah.
died, whatever, they kind of removed this part of history from like the German textbooks of how like Germany beat the Romans, because like they didn't want to like anything associated with Hitler, they wanted to remove from their history. So now they're actually like bringing his story back in Germany
Yeah. Okay.
and kind of teaching it, because I mean it is kind of like the founding of Germany. So it's pretty interesting. I actually sent it to we have like someone who actually lives in Germany that we talk to like daily basis. So
Oh
we
yeah.
actually
One of the yeah.
yeah. So we told him, we're like, hey, have you watched this? He's like, no. And then he's like, yo, this show is sick. And I actually watched it muted because the dubbing is actually pretty bad. But I just did closed captions.
You can't handle bad dubbing, or
Nah. If it's bad dubbing, I actually don't like it, so I'll just like mute it. But that one's good. I do the cheerleading show Cheer. I saw in the beginning of it. It was actually good, man. My wife was watching it. I jumped in and I thought it was good. I got a Flight Attendant, HBO. I thought that was good. Westworld season 3. It was okay.
I watched it, but definitely not an honorable mention.
No, it's just something I watched. I kind of binged it. I don't know. I kind of liked it for some odd reason. Movies, I did Five Bloods, which he talked about.
Okay.
And so some kid shit I saw, like Trolls World Tour and Onward, which I kind of liked both, but I wouldn't want to put that in my
I didn't watch Onward
because,
yet, but
yeah, that was on Disney, but they were both good.
And
they were probably better than the 5th movie I had mentioned.
well, I did have to think, and I would add Skylines. No, not Skyline. Which one was it? I'm trying to think which I'll find it. But Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's
Oh, the
Revenge.
Scorpion ones. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
did
yeah.
like that. I did see
Do you
that.
still have to pay for that one? Is that one still a paid
Yeah, I
movie?
think so. I think I paid
Okay.
like it
It's
was
like
like,
two
oh, it's
bucks or
on
some shit.
sale, so it was like I had to pay $3 or something. I don't mind that too much. And I saw Dragonheart Vengeance on Netflix. It's it's so bad. But I like it, like I don't know. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. I'm a sucker for like those like not even sci-fi fantasy like just some kid having to go to adventure. He meets a dragon, and he meets like an aloof like bounty hunter. It's just, but it's a fun watch. You can watch it with kids too if you want. But
Yeah, yeah. That's there was like a lot of like so stuff.
yeah,
It was even coming up with the top 5. I thought was even kind of hard. Like I didn't have anything. I have freaking Last Dance as my number one, but I didn't think there was like a lot of things that really hooked me, because even like The Boys, like I was really pumped for that, and
yeah.
I didn't really love it. Like we talked about it. It was a good show, but it wasn't like one of my favorites this year.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? Like there were some like the boys, exactly that, where I was really like excited, and then I saw it and I was like, wow, like I'll see how the third one is out in the season 3. Like I'll see if it I'll watch it when I watch it. I'm not excited about it anymore. And then there were some other ones that I was like thinking about, but we saw them in 2019 as soon as they came out, like Dolomite. Like I put that as my number 1, and I'm like, oh wait, we saw that last year.
Yeah, that was in
Like
our
end
like
of
top.
yeah.
That was in our top list last year.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, that's a great one. And then I started looking, and I'm like, oh, a lot of those movies that I just instantly thought about, we saw them in 2019. So
yeah.
yeah,
And I think and a lot of things I haven't seen, because I've seen a couple lists out there. And it's like things I've never watched. I think a lot of people have like I May Destroy You as like a top 3 show on HBO.
Okay,
it's not even a show that I would probably even consider watching.
Yeah.
But now that I like dark humor and stuff, so maybe I'll give it a watch when I'm done with like Lovecraft. But
yeah, I don't know.
a lot of political stuff I'm not really too into either.
Yeah,
I think there's one about like the West Indies and London and stuff, and I'm just like, I understand why people think it's good. It's probably great, it's probably done great, but
not for you.
It's just not my style. So
yeah, no, and I agree. Like there's only a certain amount of stuff I'd be willing to kind of like, I only get out of my comfort zone once in a while when it comes to movies and shows, because I don't know, I need to like enjoy it. That's why I can put up with watching kind of generic shitty action movies, because like I kind of enjoy them, like,
exactly. And they're easy watches,
that can recognize
sometimes you just want like an easy watch. So and usually that tends to be action movies. 99% of the time, at least for me, so I agree. That's why I like the Trial of Chicago 7. I was surprised I liked it so much. It was pretty good. It was like a little mix. It was like some comedy in there too, but yeah. So
I won't check it out.
I think it's fine. It's kind of long. Sure. But yeah, I mean that's about it. So maybe we'll do holiday movies. Who knows? Or maybe not.
Or pick a nice little Christmas movie episode.
Wait, off top of your head, what would be your favorite Christmas movie?
Like
would you
Die Hard? Die Hard, probably. I think I saw that around like the first time I ever watched it. I think it was around the holidays. So
yeah, I feel like still like Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jingle All the Way is good.
The Vacation was the Griswolds, whatever, National Lampoons.
Yeah, I don't know.
That shit is always up there.
Was Kindergarten Cop in the holidays, or was it just snowy there? I think it was just snowy.
I think it was just snowy.
Yeah.
Enemy of the State, I think, could be considered a Christmas movie. Well, I think he's buying like lingerie for Christmas for his like wife and or something. Yeah, I think it takes place during, but it's not really like a Christmas. Yeah. but it takes place during Christmas. Peppermint is probably up there now.
So yeah,
was it the movie we just did, which I forgot the name?
What, Ava or no?
No, Braven.
Damn, you forgot already. Just like do the podcast, forget about it.
Clean my mind, man. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, maybe next episode we'll do a holiday movie just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, maybe we should do like a winter movie, since there's like more of those.
Romance comedy. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those since last year. We haven't done an episode on a romance comedy last year.
Yeah. Well, Lovebirds. Did you watch that? That one was good. That was
Oh.
split with me on top 5.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it for this episode. Recommend Braven. It's good. It's on Netflix. Top 10. Check it out. And check out our favorite 2020 watches. Some of them you'll enjoy, I imagine. And if we didn't get any on your list, we just didn't watch it yet. So
yeah, my bad.
yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, thanks for listening, and stay tuned to the next one. Thanks for listening to OD Stream, where we discuss all things streaming, including movies, shows, and sports. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are available.